The Arcturus Initiative. The massive orbital platform hung against the backdrop of stars, its gleaming solar arrays catching the sun's light as Earth rotated below. Commander Elena Reyes stood at the viewport of the approach shuttle, her dark eyes fixed on humanity's most ambitious military project to date, the Arcturus platform. Impressive, isn't it? Dr. Kaido Nakamura joined her at the viewport, his reflection appearing beside hers in the reinforced glass. 40 years ago, this was just speculation in military think tanks, Elena replied. Now look at us. The Arcturus platform represented everything humanity had feared and hoped for since the space race began. Not quite the Death Star from old science fiction, but Earth's first true orbital weapons system. A culmination of decades of technological advancement, international cooperation born from necessity, and the growing certainty that humanity might not be alone in the cosmos. Elena had been appointed to oversee the final testing phase. With 20 years of military service and a PhD in astrophysics, she understood both the science and the stakes. What had begun as a multinational defense initiative had evolved into something more urgent after the Jakarta event 3 years ago, when an unidentified object had briefly entered Earth's atmosphere before disappearing. Final approach to Arcturus platform, announced the pilot. Prepare for docking procedures. The shuttle eased into the docking bay, a cavernous space that swallowed their vessel with room to spare. As the airlock cycled, Elena gathered her thoughts. The platform's primary weapon, a directed energy system capable of targeting objects in orbit with unprecedented precision, was scheduled for its first full power test tomorrow. Colonel Wei Chen greeted them at the airlock, his uniform crisp despite the 3 months he'd already spent on the station. Commander Reyes, welcome to Arcturus. I trust your journey was comfortable. As comfortable as it can be leaving Earth's gravity, Elena replied with a slight smile. I'm eager to see the system. Chen nodded. The technical team is waiting in command. They've made some modifications since your last briefing. The command center was a hive of activity, with technicians monitoring displays showing everything from the station's life support systems to the status of the primary weapon array. Dr. Sasha Petrov, the lead weapons engineer, rose from her station as they entered. Commander, we've achieved 97% alignment on the focusing array. Better than projected, she reported without preamble. The power systems are operating at optimal efficiency. Show me, Elena said. Petrov pulled up a holographic display of the weapon system, a complex arrangement of power conduits, focusing chambers, and the massive primary emitter. Unlike the fictional weapons of cinema that could destroy planets, Arcturus was designed with precision in mind, capable of neutralizing satellites or incoming threats with surgical accuracy. The Helios array can deliver approximately 500 megawatts of directed energy in a coherent beam, Petrov explained, enough to disable or destroy any known orbital object. And the targeting systems? Elena asked. Accurate to within 10 centimeters at a range of 10,000 kilometers, Colonel Chen said proudly. We can thread a needle in orbit. Elena nodded, impressed despite herself. And power consumption. Dr. Nakamura stepped forward. The fusion reactor is performing beyond specifications. We can sustain full power for up to 3 minutes per firing sequence, with a 15-minute recharge cycle. For the next several hours, Elena reviewed systems and protocols, asking questions that made even the specialists pause to reconsider their assumptions. This wasn't her first cutting-edge project, and she knew that theoretical performance rarely matched reality. That evening, alone in her assigned quarters, Elena reviewed the test schedule on her tablet. The initial test would target a decommissioned satellite, already cleared with all spacefaring nations, and with debris mitigation protocols in place. A soft chime from her communication panel interrupted her concentration. Commander Reyes, your presence is requested in the observation deck immediately, came Colonel Chen's voice, an unusual edge of tension evident even through the speaker. What's the situation, Colonel? A pause. Something you need to see for yourself, Commander. Elena found Chen and Nakamura at the largest viewport, their faces illuminated by the Earth's reflected light. And something else. A vessel of unknown configuration hung in space approximately 5 kilometers from the station. Its surface was a glossy black that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light, with pulsing blue lines tracing incomprehensible patterns across its hull. "When did it appear?" Elena asked, her voice steady despite the thundering of her heart. 17 minutes ago, Chen replied. No approach detected. It simply manifested. "Have you attempted communication?" Nakamura nodded. "All frequencies, standard first contact protocols." No response. "Military options?" Elena asked quietly. "Arcturus isn't fully operational," Chen replied. "The auxiliary defense systems could be brought online, but against unknown technology." The unspoken conclusion hung in the air. They were potentially defenseless. "Alert Earth Command," Elena ordered. "Initiate Silent Protocol Delta. I want all non-essential systems powered down and the station on minimum emissions." As Chen moved to comply, the alien vessel suddenly emitted a pulse of blue light. The station's systems flickered momentarily. "They're scanning us," Nakamura whispered. Before Elena could respond, every display in the observation deck activated simultaneously. A face appeared, almost human but with proportions slightly wrong. Skin too smooth, eyes too large and entirely black. "Greetings, builders of Arcturus." The figure spoke, its lips not quite matching the words. "We are the Xenovian Federation. Your weapons development has been noted and categorized as a potential threat to stellar stability." Elena stepped forward. "I am Commander Elena Reyes of Earth's Unified Space Command. We mean no hostile intent. Our platform is defensive in nature." The alien's expression didn't change. "All species claim defense when developing new weapons. The distinction is irrelevant. Your technological advancement has proceeded more rapidly than anticipated. This requires assessment. We're entitled to protect our world," Elena stated firmly. "Your species has demonstrated consistent aggression throughout its development," the alien replied. "The introduction of directed energy weapons to your orbital capacity represents a significant risk factor. The Xenovian Federation has protocols for such situations." "What protocols?" Chen demanded from beside her. "3 options," the alien said. "Abandon your weapons development and accept monitoring. Continue under strict limitations with our oversight, or face preemptive neutralization." Elena felt the blood drain from her face. "You're threatening our entire planet because we've developed technology you already possess." "It is not a threat. It is management of potential instability," the alien replied. "You have 14 of your Earth days to decide. Representatives will arrive to receive your answer." The transmission cut off abruptly, and the alien vessel vanished, not accelerating away, but simply ceasing to exist in that space. For several seconds, no one spoke. Then Nakamura broke the silence. "They've been watching us. For how long?" "That's not the immediate question," Elena said, her mind already racing through implications and options. "The question is what we do now. Colonel, secure communication with Earth Command. We need to report this immediately." Within hours, the highest levels of Earth's governments were in emergency session. The existence of the Arcturus platform, previously a closely guarded secret among participating nations, was revealed to all world leaders. The alien ultimatum sparked fierce debate. Some nations advocated immediate compliance. Humanity wasn't ready for a conflict with a clearly advanced species. Others argued that surrendering humanity's right to self-defense would be the first step toward eventual subjugation. Elena found herself called into virtual conference after conference, explaining capabilities, timelines, and potential modifications to the Arcturus system that might make it more formidable in the short time they had. 5 days after the encounter, the United Earth Council reached its decision. Elena received the transmission in the privacy of her quarters. Commander Reyes, after extensive deliberation, The Council has voted to continue the Arcturus initiative with accelerated development protocols. You are hereby authorized to implement all necessary measures to bring the platform to full operational status within 9 days. Additional personnel and resources will be dispatched immediately. The Council spokesperson paused, her expression grave. Commander, the Council recognizes that this decision may lead to conflict with the Xenovian Federation. However, the majority position holds that accepting external limitations on our technological development represents an unacceptable compromise of human sovereignty. We must demonstrate that humanity will not be intimidated. Elena acknowledged the orders, feeling the weight of them settle across her shoulders. The decision made logical sense. Showing weakness to the first alien species encountered would set a dangerous precedent, but the pragmatic part of her mind couldn't help calculating the odds against them. As she prepared to inform her team, Elena paused at the viewport, looking down at the blue marble of Earth below. "We're not ready for this," she whispered to herself. "But when have humans ever been ready for the next great leap?" She straightened her uniform and headed to command. They had 9 days to prepare for a confrontation that might determine humanity's future among the stars. The demonstration. The Arcturus platform hummed with activity as the deadline approached. Additional personnel had arrived daily, bringing specialized equipment and working around the clock to implement modifications to the primary weapons system. The station's normal complement of 60 had swelled to over 200, with makeshift sleeping arrangements established in storage areas and unused laboratories. Commander Elena Reyes had barely slept in the past 9 days. Dark circles had formed under her eyes, but her focus remained razor-sharp as she reviewed the final diagnostics with Dr. Petrov. "The power coupling modifications are complete," Petrov reported. "We've increased output capacity by 34%, though I must caution that sustained firing beyond 70 seconds may cause system degradation." "Noted," Elena replied. "And the auxiliary defensive measures?" Colonel Chen answered from his station. "Point defense lasers are online. The kinetic shield generators are at 92% efficiency, the best we could achieve with the time frame." Elena nodded, knowing it would have to be enough. Earth's most advanced technologies had been rushed to the station, some still experimental, others barely past the prototype stage. The platform now bristled with defensive systems that hadn't been in the original design. 6 hours until the deadline, Dr. Nakamura announced, his voice tight with tension. Elena addressed the command center crew. "I want all systems at full readiness in 4 hours. Non-essential personnel will evacuate to the emergency shelters. Colonel Chen, begin the final defense drills." As the crew dispersed to their tasks, Elena retreated to her office, a small space adjacent to the command center that had become her home. Maps and schematics covered the walls, and empty coffee cups littered every surface. Her private terminal chimed with an incoming transmission from Earth. Admiral Leonov's weathered face appeared on the screen. "Commander, final update from the surface. All major population centers have been placed on alert status. Military assets are deployed and ready. The lunar defense installations are operational." "And evacuation protocols?" Elena asked. "In progress," Leonov replied grimly. "Priority personnel are being moved to the deep bunkers. Civilian authorities have implemented the cover story about solar flare activity. Neither of them mentioned that these measures would be largely symbolic if the Xenovians possessed the technology they had displayed. Earth had united as never before, but unity didn't guarantee survival against vastly superior technology. "What's your assessment, Commander?" Leonov asked, his voice dropping to a more personal tone. Elena considered her words carefully. "The platform exceeds original specifications. We've implemented every upgrade possible within the time frame. But, Admiral, we're firing blind here. We have no idea what their capabilities truly are." Leonov nodded. "The Council understands the odds, Elena. But we need to demonstrate that humanity won't bow to the first pressure applied. Even if we lose this battle, our response matters for future encounters." "Let's hope there are future encounters," Elena replied. The Admiral's expression softened slightly. For what it's worth, there's no one I'd rather have commanding Arcturus right now. Good luck, Commander. Earth stands with you. The transmission ended, leaving Elena alone with her thoughts. She allowed herself 30 seconds of doubt before straightening her shoulders and returning to the command center. The next hours passed in a blur of final preparations, system checks, and contingency planning. Elena ordered a rotation that allowed essential personnel short rest periods, though few managed actual sleep. With 1 hour remaining, she ordered the station to battle readiness. The Helios array was brought to standby mode, its massive capacitors humming as they charge. The defensive systems were activated, and all non-combat systems were powered down to redirect energy where it would be needed most. 50 minutes to deadline, Nakamura announced, his voice steady despite the circumstances. Elena looked around at the faces of her crew, a mix of determination, fear, and resolution. They represented Earth's finest, drawn from dozens of nations, united in purpose. Whatever happened in the coming hours, they would face it together. I want to say something, Elena began, drawing their attention. Each of you was chosen for this assignment because you're the best at what you do. We've prepared as thoroughly as possible for a situation no one could have anticipated. Whatever happens, Commander, the sensor officer interrupted, her voice rising in alarm. Massive energy signature detected. Multiple objects materializing. The main view screen shifted to show space seemingly tearing open in multiple locations around the station. Through these rifts emerged vessels of varying sizes, all bearing the same glossy black surface with pulsing blue patterns. Within moments, the Arcturus platform was surrounded by 15 alien ships, arranged in a spherical formation that blocked all potential escape vectors. Defensive posture, Elena ordered calmly. No aggressive actions. Monitor all frequencies. As if on cue, the communications system activated. The same alien face from the first encounter appeared on screen, though Elena now noticed subtle differences that suggested this might be a different individual. Humans of Earth, the Xenovian began. The allotted time has expired. What is your response to our terms? Elena stepped forward, her voice clear and unwavering. I am Commander Elena Reyes, representing United Earth. We have carefully considered your terms and must respectfully decline external limitations on our technological development. Earth's defenses are our sovereign right. The alien's expression remained unchanged. Your decision is noted but incorrect. Scans indicate you have enhanced your weapons platform rather than prepared for its decommissioning. This confirms our assessment of human aggressive tendencies. We've enhanced our defensive capabilities in response to a direct threat, Elena countered. Any species would do the same. Irrelevant, the Xenovian stated. The Arcturus platform will now be neutralized as a potential threat to stellar stability. Your resistance is anticipated but futile. The transmission cut off abruptly. Almost immediately, the sensor officer shouted, Energy buildup detected in the 3 largest vessels. They're preparing to fire. Kinetic shields to maximum. Elena ordered. Prepare evasive station-keeping thrusters. Helios array to full power. Target the lead vessel only. The next moments stretched into eternity as the crew raced to respond. The first alien attack came as a pulse of brilliant violet energy that struck the station's shields, causing the entire structure to shudder violently. Shields at 63% from a single hit, Chen reported, his face pale. Return fire, Elena commanded. Full power to the main array. The Helios array discharged with a blinding flash of concentrated energy, striking the lead Xenovian vessel directly. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then a ripple spread across the alien ship's surface, its blue patterns flickering erratically. Direct hit, Petrov exclaimed. Their outer energy field is fluctuating. Before Elena could order a second shot, 2 more alien vessels fired simultaneously. The station rocked under the impact, alarms blaring throughout the command center. Shields critical. Sectors 3 through 7 are compromised. Chen shouted over the noise. "Rear out power from life support to the shields," Alina ordered. "Maintain targeting on the lead vessel. They appear to be coordinating through it." The Helios array fired again, striking the same vessel. This time, visible damage appeared on its hull, a jagged crack spreading across its surface, releasing a cascade of blue energy into space. "They didn't expect us to penetrate their defenses," Nakamura realized aloud. "Their technology is advanced, but they underestimated our weapons." The damaged Xenovian vessel began to drift out of formation, its pulsing patterns dimming. The remaining ships hesitated, their coordinated attack faltering momentarily. Alina seized the opportunity. "Open communication channel. Broadcast on all frequencies." When the system confirmed the channel was open, she spoke clearly and forcefully. "Xenovian vessels, this is Commander Reyes. We have demonstrated our defensive capabilities. Your lead ship is severely damaged, and our weapons remain targeted on your fleet. We did not seek this conflict, but we will defend ourselves. I propose an immediate cessation of hostilities and reopening of dialogue." For several tense moments, there was no response. The Xenovian ships maintained their positions, but no further attacks came. Finally, a different alien face appeared on the communication screen, this one with subtle variations in facial structure and skin tone that suggested a different individual, perhaps of higher rank. "Human Commander," the new Xenovian spoke, its voice deeper and more modulated. "Your species has surprised the Federation. Our preliminary assessment appears to have been incomplete." "We are full of surprises," Alina replied evenly. "It would be in everyone's interest to continue this conversation without further bloodshed." The alien seemed to consider this. "Your directed energy weapon should not have penetrated our defensive field. This technology is unexpected at your development stage. As I said, we're defending our home," Alina stated. "We developed what was necessary." Another pause, longer this time. Alina could sense the tension in the command center as everyone held their breath. "A reassessment is required," the Xenovian finally declared. "The Federation acknowledges your right to defensive measures within your orbital sphere. We propose a neutral exchange of technological parameters to establish appropriate boundaries." Alina allowed herself a small, careful breath of relief. "We are open to dialogue and information exchange, with the understanding that Earth's sovereignty remains intact." "Acceptable," the alien conceded. "We will withdraw to a non-threatening distance and dispatch diplomatic representatives. Your demonstration has earned you the right to negotiation rather than management." The communication ended, and the Xenovian vessels, except for the damaged lead ship, began to move away from the station, taking up positions well beyond weapons range. For a moment, no one in the command center spoke. Then Dr. Petrov broke the silence. "Did we just win?" "No," Alina replied, finally allowing herself to sink into her command chair. "But we didn't lose either. We earned respect. And that's something we can build on." Colonel Chen laughed suddenly, the sound almost shocking in the tense atmosphere. "Commander, do you realize what just happened? Humanity just had its first space battle with an alien species, and we held our ground. More importantly," Nakamura added quietly, "we forced them to talk instead of dictate. That may make all the difference for our future." Alina nodded, her eyes moving to the viewport where Earth shone blue and white against the blackness of space. Humanity had faced its first extraterrestrial challenge, not with perfect technology or overwhelming force, but with determination, ingenuity, and the unwillingness to surrender its destiny to another species. "Begin damage assessments," she ordered. "And someone get me a secure line to Earth. We need to prepare for negotiations." As her crew sprang into action with renewed purpose, Alina allowed herself a moment to absorb what they had accomplished. Humanity had taken its first true steps into a larger universe, not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals who had earned their place among the stars. In the darkness of space, the Arcturus platform continued its orbit around Earth, no longer just a weapons platform, but humanity's first true shield against the unknown.